Howdy.
Howdy, amigos.
Como esta?
What's going
in
on?
Spanish and in Tagalog,
Yeah,
baby.
como
Same thing.
está? Yo,
Booyah.
what's up? It's Terror Talk. I'm Will.
And I'm Hector. Mabuhay.
Yes. We're here talking horror. We're talking terror. We're talking all things.
And we talking news, baby.
Are we?
No, we're not.
Nope.
Fooled you.
We're talking about a little bit thing we like to call discrepancies.
Yeah.
This is a new series in Terror Talk called Discrepancies in Horror.
And our biggest enemy,
Ooh.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes.
They're a little wild.
So Rotten Tomatoes sucks, right? Because the reason why they suck, and a lot of people don't know why they suck. They're just like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes sucks, but nobody really explains why Rotten Tomatoes sucks. The reason why Rotten Tomatoes sucks is because it's either fresh, right? Their reviews, they mark it fresh or they mark it rotten. Now, they're not accounting for the fact that some movies are just kind of mid. They just kind of suck, right? They're just like, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not good. It's okay. So somebody goes in there and interprets what that review says and decides, unilaterally whether it's good or bad, where it could have just been okay.
And then people run with this, but like, oh, but this movie's got a 100% or something like that. This movie's great, and that movie sucks.
Yeah,
but you know what? They're kind of being paid because they say a lot of movies that suck doesn't match with the audience score.
It doesn't. They say like some movies are like, oh, this is a great movie, it's certified fresh. But then you read the fresh reviews, and you're like, well, this person didn't love the movie. He thought it was okay, but you interpret it as fresh. And then sometimes the alternate happens where you read a negative review and like, this guy's not that harsh on this review. Like you marked it rotten. There's no ability for like in the middle. Like Metacritic is a better example because they give you like the
it's
neutral
a scale.
reviews.
Yeah, it's also a scale. It's like you'll see in the middle. It's not like and they're not really always 10, right?
Yeah.
There's always like
it's not all or nothing, right? It's not everything's a 10 and a 1, right? That's what Rotten Tomatoes will have you believe. So it's very manipulated in that sense. But besides the fact that Rotten Tomatoes sucks, we're going to talk today about some of the biggest discrepancies in horror movies, in certain horror movies where the audience score doesn't quite match up with a critic score.
Yeah.
And the one movie we're going to talk about today is
Midsommar.
Midsommar. So if I'm looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score right now, I'm looking Midsommar had an 83% fresh score with the critics with 404 reviews, and there was over 5,000 reviews for the audience, and they gave it a 63%. So sizable difference, not entirely not a huge discrepancy.
Not like 83
but
then 0%.
20% difference is pretty high. Though.
Yeah.
Like a 20% differential. So there was some kind of disconnect with audiences and critics. First off, I want to ask you, who do you side with? Did you like this movie, or do you agree with the critics or the?
I like this movie.
You liked it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the birth of Florence Pugh.
Yes.
After this, she became a star.
Yeah, she got nude in Oppenheimer.
Of all people to be nude, huh?
Yeah. It was
all booby scenes had to be Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm. It was a fascinating part of the movie, to say the least.
My boy gets down. That's all I got to say.
Unnecessary to me. I love the movie, but I was like, this movie.
Nah, it's just Cillian Murphy's his signature role in movies. Unnecessary sex scenes.
Unnecessary nudity.
Or you just see his dick for no reason.
There's no reason why I should know what Cillian Murphy's penis looks like.
28 days later.
There's no reason for that.
There's no reason. All right, we get it. You just woke up from a coma, but geez.
Yeah, you could have been covered up. But anyway, Midsommar, I agree with the critics on this one.
Oh, okay.
Because I really like Midsommar a lot. I dug it quite a bit. It's different than what I was expecting. But
wait, you liked it or you didn't like it?
I liked it a lot. No, I'm agreeing.
Oh, yeah, I liked it too.
With the critics, yeah. The critics, they gave it a higher score than the audience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all. I was like, wait, what? I'm like,
the audience gave it a lower score, but I think the audience's expectations were kind of a little bit out of whack because the way that this is coming off of Hereditary, right? This is the first movie coming off of Hereditary, so that left people on a high. And you're expecting something very high pace, fast pace, something in a similar vein to maybe Hereditary. But Midsommar's not that. It's a slow burn, sort of a coming of age story in a way, about our dealing with grief and loss and how we move on and how we deal with it in certain ways. And there are horrific scenes in it. There's scary scenes in it, but it's not like...
Especially the guy jumping off the cliff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
And you see it, too.
You see it. Yeah, you see them explode. So the reason why I think the audience probably didn't like this one as much, or why there's a discrepancy, is I think they might have thought it was a little bit too long and boring. What do you think?
I could see that.
Yeah.
I do see the pace of the movie is not
It's a slow
exactly
burn.
keeping you in. For
Hmm.
example, it definitely is a slow burn,
Yeah.
but it had to be. I think. That slow pace and bringing into the all this madness that happens at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it
I think
unravels,
that's
right?
an appropriate way, a pace for this movie. Because if you do it too fast, you'll just be kind of like, oh, okay, they could have easily gotten away, right?
Yeah.
Or they're not being seduced by
Yeah.
a certain, like everybody's going through their own different thing in this
They're only
movie.
going through their own like
You know,
situation. So let me read this review real quick. One person wrote, "Garbage, pure tripe. Talk about 100% waste of money. This was one of those horror movies that has a great setup and literally no logical or movie logic to hold it together. Don't bother, really." See, I disagree with that. I think it did have enough logic to hold it together. I think you just have to look between the lines of what this movie was trying to say.
see, I think people may see how they got tricked into this cult, pretty much, right? I
Yeah.
think it's safe to say that's what it was. Um, and then they could have just easily left, but in the viewers' eyes, maybe they were like, "Yeah, I would have gotten the fuck out of there."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're busy getting high, right? Were
Yeah.
they drinking stuff to like, get them high and stuff like that?
Mhm.
Especially when they first got there.
Yeah.
And then there's temptations.
There was temptations there. Well,
Mm.
but it was like, it was for Florence Pugh's movie, and it was like her coming to terms, because she doesn't smile throughout the entire movie, and then by
No.
the end of the movie, she is smiling because she's come to terms with letting everything go.
Well, also
much.
her boyfriend was being a dick the whole time.
Yeah, and
Like
he
a
was
big
being
asshole.
But he was being a dick from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, she should have never.
But like, I feel
been
like he
with him.
turned that shit up
Yeah,
when he
'cause
got there.
he didn't love her.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't love her from the beginning. He didn't want her being on the trip at all. I don't see how you can love Florence Pugh. She's a great girl. So this is another review I'll read real quick. Great cinematography, great relationship between the cast, and that's about it. Long, boring, and nothing seems to happen for the longest time. Then when it does, it's 60s and 60s. It's so 60s, but bad 60s. What does that mean? Anyway,
Is he talking about this movie or what's
Yeah.
the other movie that she was in?
It says then when
With,
it does, it's so 60s, but bad 60s.
No.
About like 60s.
No, what's that movie that she did with what's his
What?
name from One Direction? You know the fuck.
A
hold
Black
on.
Widow.
N-
This is all done before and better. Pretentious piece of crap that's not even scary or suspenseful. It was actually funny in many parts because it was so ridiculous. Like, see, I think audiences didn't connect with this because they were expecting a different movie than what was given.
I think he's commenting about "Don't Worry, Darling."
Is it?
Yeah, well, that was like based in the '60s.
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell's in the '60s in this movie?
Yeah.
Like nothing at all.
Yeah, and this is a review for Midsommar.
I think he saw Florence Pugh. He's like, yeah, fucking "Don't Worry, Darling." Fuck
then
that
when
movie.
It does it. It's so 60s, but bad 60s. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Bridget W., please, if you're watching this video, which I know you are, please tell us why we're reading your review on Rotten Tomatoes. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure she's commenting about "Don't Worry, Darling."
Yeah.
What does it say when the
It was September 2nd, 2019. So that was before that movie came out.
maybe she knew she saw early screening in that movie.
Early screening of Don't Worry, Darling, which that movie does suck. But
Yeah, that movie sucks very much. But what
Yeah.
the hell is she talking about?
I
That's
have no
very
idea.
60s. There's nothing 60s about that
I have
movie.
no idea. But I
What?
think the movie is well done. I think it was mismarketed though, like because even myself, I was expecting something a little bit more bombastic, but what I got was something a lot more subdued and a lot
Yeah.
more reflective, I should say. It was a lot more contemplative, interesting, a very fascinating film. I thought it was really, really good. I didn't think it was pretentious at all. It just takes its time to unravel and tell you what it wants to tell you. It does it on its own terms.
I think also if you just watch this once
Yeah.
and you're not a big horror movie fan, you just stumble upon this movie, you may not like it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies you got to watch again, and you notice all these little details. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is cool.
I don't think it's
And-
a movie made for mass consumption. Like it's not Smile. Like Smile is like a movie, and I like Smile. We like Smile. Check out our review for Smile when you
Yeah.
get a chance. We
It ain't
like
come out yet.
No, it should be out now by the time they see this video.
It should be way out too.
Check out our review for Smile on a playlist. We like that movie, but that movie's made for mass consumption. It moves at a brisk pace. It's easy to understand. It's not too philosophical. It's made for general audiences. I think Midsommar, because of the success of Hereditary, Midsommar was seen as that piece to have mass audience appeal, and it's not that. It's more for a niche audience, and the critics found it more
Yeah.
enjoyable. So that's the first discrepancy. That was That's an interesting one though, because I get why people could find this boring because it's not exactly what people are looking to
But
see.
60s, what the fuck is
I don't
she
know what
talking?
she's talking about. Bridget, let us know. Comment below. And it's long. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes. And there is a long period of time where nothing is happening throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's just essentially they're on
yeah,
another country hanging out and stuff like
yeah.
that.
There's a lot of hanging out. There's a lot of implied stuff. In the movie, but I mean, I liked it. I agree with the critics on this one. I think the critics.
I agree too.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe the people. I think especially Bridget should watch this movie again because I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
What the fuck?
What did you think of Midsommar? Do you side with the critics or do you side with the
audience score?
Audience score. Let us know below. Audience score again was 63%, and the critic score was 83%. Which did you fall in line with? Did you like this movie? Let us know below. And if you like all things horror movie related news, reviews, and analysis and stuff like this, consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification. Hit the subscribe button, baby. Let us know.
Terror Talk out.
Yeah.